Now, just how rare are Arabian Nights cards? In today's video, I'm going to be discussing just that. Welcome back to my channel. I am Mattcaster, Mage, and I make Magic the Gathering content every single day, so please come and join me and subscribe, and let's get right into this video topic. Now, Arabian Nights is the second lowest printed set in all of Magic the Gathering, the first being Alpha. But Arabian Nights was the first expansion set from Magic the Gathering, and it was the first set from the block that is now considered the Four Horsemen sets, which encompasses Arabian Nights, Legends, Antiquities, and the Dark. But Arabian Nights is the most scarce, with an estimated 5 million cards ever printed from this set. Now, it's a small set, so that is definitely something to consider. There is only about 78 cards that were ever printed from that set. That's the set size, is just 78, and there's 27 uncommons and 51 commons. There is no rares. That is another thing to remember, is that there's no real rares, but there is a rarity based on the commons and uncommons. Now, the way that it actually is broken down is the rarest of uncommons is about 20,700, and the easiest to find uncommons are about 41,300. And then for the commons, the rarest common printed amount is about 31,000, and then the easiest to find commons, there's 340,800 of them available in the market. So that's the way it actually breaks down. It's like there's a tier of U2, U4, and it just keeps going down the list until you hit the lowest. So with that being said, you have to remember, so there's a lot of copies. So some commons, there's 340,800 copies of them available, which is still relatively scarce if you think about it, considering how old this set is. Now, how many people were playing with these cards without sleeves back in the day? And remember, back in the time frame where this set came out, it wasn't really seen as a collectible at this point. It was still seen as a game. You know, kids would go and play them at recess. They would have their deck. They wouldn't even have a deck box. They would just maybe have a rubber band around their deck, throw it in their pocket, and then it'll get crinkled. It'll get basically edge wear, and then even the asphalt when you're playing the cards would kind of have surface damage on the back. You'd see those little grinded, almost like you sanded the card down. And this was very common back in the day, and that's why there's so little near mint copies of these cards now on the market. So when it comes to commons, so the most common card that you can actually find is Desert. So Desert, there is 340,800 copies of this card. Now, it is an iconic card, and it's, the symbolism there, Desert, Arabian Nights, there's a lot of nice flavor with that, obviously, because it just makes sense. It's Desert, Arabian Nights. It's pretty iconic, but there's a lot of copies of this in the world compared to the relatively huge print size of this set. Now, when it comes to the rarest of commons, you're looking at Woolly Wolf and Mountain. Now, Mountain is the only basic land ever printed in Arabian Nights. Originally, the set wasn't going to have any lands, but they ended up printing one mountain, and that somehow made into the set, and it's very rare. There's only 31,000 copies of these mountains in the world. 31,000, that's it. So when it comes to basic lands, it's perhaps one of the most rare basic lands out there. And it's actually something that I've been trying to find a few near mint copies of these basic mountains from Arabian Nights, because they're just that scarce, and there's a lot of interesting history behind that card. Now, when it comes to the most expensive uncommons, you're looking at Aladdin and Jeweled Bird are two of the most expensive and scarce uncommons. Now, if you watch my market videos, you've seen these cards appear on my market movers almost, it feels like almost every other week you'll see one of these cards show up, especially Woolly Wolf is a common that it's always frequently appearing on the list. But Arabian Nights in general are always going up. It's just you have to really look for the deals nowadays, because there is so little of these cards on the market. So whenever they actually make an appearance, there usually ends up being a very quick buyout. Now, when it comes to the secondary uncommons, so you're looking at cards very iconic like Bazaar Baghdad and Sorceress Queen. Obviously, Bazaar Baghdad was a card that Rudy from Alpha Investments has spoken at great length about. Now, there's only about 31,000 copies of that card circulating in the world right now, making it incredibly scarce. Now, that is something to think about, because just like City of Brass has about 31,000 copies of the original printing from Arabian Nights. Now, think about how many people actually played with the cards that were playable back in the day. There's some cards that weren't as playable, but, as the game evolved, the power creep definitely sunk in. But, like, a card like City of Brass, very, very useful. And think of how many copies there are of that are mint condition in the world right now. That was a card that was definitely seeing play. That was a card that was definitely being played without sleeves, put in someone's pocket, just getting crinkled up and destroyed. So many of these cards are not mint condition. Most of the ones that you're going to see are going to be damaged. How many of them have been lost? How many of them are just, in a playground, maybe under a few feet now of dirt? There is not a lot of Arabian Nights cards out there anymore that are very, very, very high grade. So that's something that I want to bring to your attention. Maybe this is something you've thought about. This is probably something you actually know already if you're, a subscriber on my channel. I talk a lot about the financial side of the game with all the market mover videos, and I thought this was a video that I wanted to bring to people's attention, because you may have wondered why so many Arabian Nights cards always make it on the list for market movers. And this is why. Anyways, guys, I hope you'd enjoyed this video. I hope you found it useful and informative. And if you guys are new to the channel, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. And let me know what your favorite card from Arabian Nights is. I'll be sure to read it and reply. Okay. Let me know which set you want me to do more research on. Maybe Antiquities for the next video. Let me know down in the comments, and I'll see if I can make that happen. Being a patron will help me produce more market movers and add to the funds that I will use for my random buys, and also to my coffee fund, because I drink a lot of coffee for these videos. And here you can see a link below in the description that will give you all the tiers and what you get in each tier. So I hope you guys click and think about joining. And with that, I'll see you next video. Think about supporting the channel in that way. If not, subscribe, like, leave a comment, and I will see you again in the next video.